chocolate. So good. Mm, mm, so delicious. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rider Time podcast here on the Morphin Network. I'm Mike, and we are to discuss Kamen Rider Gavv, episode 6, transformation into bitter chocolate. Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this one. Right, as you know, spicy food is my most favorite food, but my second favorite food is dark chocolate. Not too dark, like maybe like 55%, preferably, but I use 100% cooking. So, maintaining the theme of the last few episodes, let's talk about chocolate. All right, so chocolate was actually first used in Latin America, including the Amazons and by the Aztec. Yeah, those are the two main regions where chocolate would be found, and they would come from cacao beans, which are they technically beans because they do grow from trees, so they're kind of angiosperm. I'm not 100% sure of like whether beans are like that, but they're not seeds, so I guess they're not fruits. But yeah, so what's really interesting about the ancient Aztecs is cacao beans were actually used as currency and was considered more valuable than even gold. And what else? Okay, so they're more valuable than gold, and you could get all kinds of things if you had enough of it. Very valuable. And now here's the thing. Originally, chocolate wasn't so much consumed as a solid as much as it was consumed as a liquid. That's right. Like they would just like ferment cacao fruit, cacao, turn it into a liquid form, and then they would drink that. So if anything, hot chocolate is a more accurate way of eating chocolate than actual chocolate bars. Believe it or not, the first time chocolate was made in the form of a bar is actually in the early 1900s. So that's actually a very recent use, considering that ancient Mesoamericans used cacao as both food and currency for centuries, if not millennia. So, more fun facts. So, chocolate is very bitter, so it has quite a bit of quinine in it, and it has very vital minerals in it, including zinc and potassium and magnesium. And these minerals are actually really good for your health in moderate doses, such as reducing your cortisol level, and cortisol is a hormone that your body releases under high levels of stress. It causes you to retain fat tissue. And so by lowering your cortisol level, you become more relaxed, as well as it helps you lose a little bit of fat. Now, like, let's be honest. Like, you're not going to go from 300 pounds to 140 by eating a lot of chocolate, because it doesn't work that way. There's only like a certain amount of weight loss that it could help you with. So definitely see your personal certified physician on the best way for you to lose weight. That's what you are planning on doing. Definitely some cardio exercise is not something that you should neglect in that regard. But while chocolate is healthy for you, eating too much of it can also kill you, just like a dog would. Statistically, it would take about 20 to pounds of chocolate for you to actually die from, or is it 22? It's still a lot of chocolate, let's be honest. So maybe only stick to 1 bar a day at most. Yeah? Enjoy it in moderation. What's really interesting is that white chocolate is not actually made of chocolate. It actually uses cocoa butter, which is actually a residue from the process of making chocolate. And what's good about cocoa butter is that it has a much higher melting point than actual chocolate does. So if you ever see like a chocolate statue, more than likely going to use white chocolate instead of dark chocolate, because white chocolate lasts longer without milk. So yeah, those are some fun facts about chocolate. But yeah, eating a little bit, just a smidge of chocolate, it will calm you down because it lowers your cortisol level. Oh, and it's really good for insulin. But again, don't really go all in on consuming chocolate as like a health thing without first discussing it with your physician, just to be clear. Now that we have that said, let's talk about the actual episode. So where we last left off, Salt, because I can't remember his actual name, and now it's likely I won't need to. Salt was doing a stakeout, and Mushroom Dude, turns out he was a mushroom. I liked his design last week because like the slime on his body kind of looked like saliva, but turns out it really is slime. The Mushroom Dude, tried to shrink Salt while he was in the middle of a stakeout. Unfortunately, Hanto came back from his previous encounter with Gavv, and he can't find Salt anywhere. So he's like looking around, and he's like trying to figure out, okay, well, if I was doing a stakeout, I would do it right over here, which means, oh my god, he has been shrunken. And then he noticed that his human press is broken, and then he has a flash of when he met Gavv last episode and says, hey, be careful, don't break it, because if they break it, they die. Salt's human press is broken. Let that sink in. Salt has met his demise. It's kind of a dark thing to happen, but it's so noir, and yet I have so much appreciation for that because, you always have like 2 detectives and their best bros. Maybe one of them might be a mentor. And yes, sometimes having one of them like get axed off might be like really good motivation for the other to like finish the job. So Hanto, like, he rushed to Suga in order to get help. Yes, Suga means sour, but at least I remembered Suga's name. It's like, please, I need you to fix this. There's no fixing that. The dude's dead. But I have an idea. I made this thing. It's Hanto's henshin device. I don't have one. With this, I reverse engineered those little minions that I stole 2 episodes ago, and I'm going to use them in order to, and I've been able to use them to reverse engineer that rider's ability to fight Granules. But here's the thing: you as a normal human might not be able to do that. So I'm going to have to implant this into your body. It's basically, if I had to guess, it looks like a Granute's kidney. So it needs to like implant a Granute's kidney so that he could release Granute-based hormones into his body. I'm like, let's say you did find enough Granutes to dissect How would you know that that's how it works? Also, how would you know that the procedure of surgically implanting that into a human's body is going to work as well? Some interesting stuff to make me think about. Who is Suga exactly? Like I know he's acting like he's all innocent. He's just like just trying to help Hanto fight Granutes, but why? Why? Because I understand why Hanto wants to fight Granutes. I understand why Dente wants to help humans. I understand those two. What's in it for Suga specifically? That's what I want to know. But of course, Hanto's like, you're using me as a guinea pig. Look, I'm just saying. I want technology that can defeat Granutes, and you want to defeat Granutes. Care to make a deal? With dealing with the devil. Akuma Saigiga calling. Okay, but for real though, it's like, yeah, he does the surgery. Like, and I know I keep comparing Hanto to Ichimonji, but I want to see more of that Ichimonji aspect. It's like this. I would love to see if like somehow progressively Suga is turning Hanto into a villain, but Hanto's just not aware of it. Now, the thing about Ichimonji is that he was already brainwashed by Shocker into being a villain before, like, during his surgery to become a writer. And then he had to regain his humanity after the fact by fighting Ichigo. But here it's like he's just letting the stranger perform surgery on him, making him less human and more of something else. And he has the main character's superpowers. There's like, come on, where's the there has to be like some kind of catch to this. And I don't mean the surgical like agony. I'm the post-surgical agony. I mean like there's got to be some kind of mental side to this that needs to be developed over time. And I hope it does. I'm not going to be like quick to like throw Gavv under the bus because let's be honest, in Gotchard, Kuragane's heel turn was just so random. Keiwa's heel turn also kind of out of left field, but at least the motivation made sense. Daiji, we don't talk about Daiji, but I'm expecting Hanto to have some kind of heel turn. I'm just a little upset that it's not right now. But hopefully it will happen over time because why would you build up this parallel to Kamen Rider Nego if you're not going to like follow through on it? So like here's how I would have done this a little bit different. Don't turn him into a writer just yet. Have him like develop that resentment for like the whole Granute and Gavv thing over time until like he's just practically begging to be turned into a Kamen Rider. And I know that having Salt get killed off is a relatively good motivation, but I'm just saying like have that be a thing that happens progressively. Let that resentment like simmer for like 3 episodes. That's all I'm saying. But no, I actually appreciate the motivation because like as we already know, there was a wolf Granute that already killed his mom, and no, it has nothing to do with. See, I was like thinking like, what if the wolf was Shoma's dad, but we saw Shoma's dad in the previous episode, so we know it wasn't him, unless there's like different forms that they take. But to our knowledge, the red Gavv is just like is definitely an anomaly. But I am curious if Dente might have something to do with that wolf granite from Honto's past. Anyway, so he goes through with the surgery. And again, I would have liked it if, like, turns out Suga was in fact working for Nielv and, like, he just became an evil rider without knowing he's going to become an evil rider. And so we're going to have, like a whole, like, subplot about him fighting Gavv and then just, like, becoming a good guy later on. You know, like Nigo. You know, but it is what it is. It's not bad. It's just I would have done it slightly differently. The twins are really upset now that they know that, like, one of their hideouts that human presses are being collected is now destroyed. They go to Nielv if he knows any information about Gavv and what can be done about it. Turns out Nielv is already aware that Shoma is Gavv, and he's got the red driver, and he's like fighting all the granites. But Nielv is more on the curious side. He's like, I want to study this more. It wasn't too long ago that we learned how to press humans. And it wasn't too long after that when we learned to make ourselves look human. I want to see what this does. So that's another interesting thing on the timeline of the story. The ability to disguise oneself as a human is more recent than actually pressing. So there are several interesting things where we can go with this. This is also probably a good reason why human part-timers to begin with, because before there was a point where Granudes could not just simply walk around among humans and then just infiltrate human society and just like press humans. So, there's a progression. And also the ability to disguise oneself as a human, was it also a thing that Dente figured out, or is this something that Nielv learned after the fact? Because I would love to learn more about the relationship between Dente and Nielv. And I am like really putting my spyglass on Nielv because I'm still suspicious about his relationship with Suga. They didn't establish anything particular between them, but I feel like there's something going on between Suga and Nielv. There's got to be something going on between those two characters. So that closes that subplot. So next we got Shoma. He's starting off his job working with Akane. I know that's her last name. I know she has a first name, Sachika. Or is it Sachika? Is it Sachika? I think it's... Man, if I remembered it accidentally, like, that'd be great. Let's see. Yes, I got it right. It is Sachika. I got her name right by accident, but at least I got it. Okay, so, and of course, what I really like is how Shoma gets all of his gochizos, and he produced a lot of them by this point. And I'm curious if, like, this is another, like, give and take for Gavv, for Shoma, that's not with the other members of the Stemic family. Like, is it a thing where, like, Shoma can summon small gochizos as his minions, but he could summon a lot of them, while the Stomach family members produce human-sized minions, but they can only produce a limited amount of them at a time? Because, like, if that is true, they didn't establish it, but it would be an interesting thing if that's something that they end up confirming. Because that's another thing to, like, take note of, like, how, like, Shoma's different from the rest, and he could use that to his advantage. So he gets his gochizos to start patrolling the city, looking for other Granudes that might be attacking humans, and that is smart. I like that Shoma is actually doing smart, proactive things now that he like has like a concrete mission. And of course, Sachiko accidentally finds some of the Gochizos. Of course, she doesn't know that they are sentient, but she's like, "Oh, these are cute little toys. What do you call them? Well, we should call them Gochizos because they look like snacks." Yeah, that sounds like a fun name. So yeah, that's another interesting thing. They were at no point were they referred to Gochizos until this episode. So that's another fun thing about it, because as far back as episode 1, we knew they were called Gaia members. As far as episode 1, we knew they were called core members. Episode 1, Astro Switches. Episode 1, Wizard Rings. Episode 1, Lock Seeds. In fact, DJ Sagura explains what lock seeds do. Episode 1, Shift Cars. Episode 1, Icons. Episode 1, Got Shots. Episode 1, Full Bottles. Episode 1, Rider Watches. Episode 1, Progress Keys. Episode 1, Wonder Ride Books. Episode 1, Vice Steps. Episode 1, Rider Buckles. Well, did they call them Rider Buckles in the first episode? Definitely in the first 2 episodes. Episode 1, Kami cards. So yeah, like early on, we established what the gimmick toys, and very early on into the episode here, we wait until episode 6. That's actually an interesting thing. It's something I certainly didn't think about, and it's certainly something that like didn't distract from the actual plot of the episode. So good on you for good writing. So the 2 of them go on a mission. The mission is handing out pamphlets for ramen shop. And boy, do I love me some ramen. Also, on the way to the ramen job, Shoma does visit Grand Uncle Dente to like give him some snacks out of gratitude. He's like, "Listen, you're gonna be helping me fight the greatest criminal. Why should I do that? Because you like human food, and there's no humans to make human food. You're gonna be upset." "Well, that's true. All right, I'll be the Alfred to your Bruce." Although it's not so much that he's Bruce as much as he's Terry McGinnis. You know, one thing I wish I could have seen at all is I would have loved to see Terry McGinnis interact with Alfred Pennyworth, because you got a snarky teenager meeting like a witty butler who's always busting people's chops. It's like, "Who are you?" "I'm Batman." You don't let the lack of cowl fool you." It's like, "Yeah, right, you're not Batman. One of these days I will trick someone." I love Pennyworth. He's always so sassy. So yeah, I wish he and Terry McGinnis would at least have some screen time together. But yeah, so the grand new from the previous episode, the one that killed the Salt, is basically a street magician, and that really bothers me because I like stage magic. I really love stage magic. I love Harry Houdini because stage magic ties to my love for science. It's it pushes people to think critically. Think outside the box, inside the box, behind the box, in that mirror underneath the box that looks like the back of the stage, but it's actually at a 45-degree angle, so it's showing the side of the stage instead of the back of the stage. You have to like really think it through, and that's why I love stage magic. So when someone uses it for evil, you best believe that upsets me. By the way, this is a screwdriver. I was doing some housekeeping. Yeah, so there's that. And of course, one of the Gochizos figures it out, tells Shoma while he's in the middle of his street promotion job. So of course he runs off, and just as a woman is about to disappear, like he manages to tackle her just before like she was about to get fruit rolled up. And of course, like her boyfriend starts attacking. She was like, "How dare you assault my girlfriend?" It's like, whoa. You don't understand what's going on. Of course, the street magician like takes advantage of the riot. So he hides the giant mouth on his abdomen. Surprised no one noticed it. Like there's like a giant tongue like right there, and he like runs off. And of course, Shoma tries to fight him off. He tries to use the candy corn foots. Doesn't work because the slime makes the top of his head slippery, and apparently he has spores that are combustible. Talk about a heated field. Why didn't he use that sooner? But yeah, no, this makes the dude dangerous. You got to keep your distance. And of course, Hanto shows up. He shoots him with his new toy, but buy it from Bandai. It's not premium, but still buy it. And he's like, "Did you do this to this man?" "Oh yeah, that guy. I'm gonna kill you for him." Of course, we got the epic scene where like he takes one of the Chokudan Gochizos, places inside the thing, and Loki kind of looks like it's being electrocuted. He creates this pool of liquid chocolate that's just like a bunch of chocolate bars and goes around his body. His body looks like it's covered in foil, which looks amazing. And then it looks like he's just like ripping it off and showing his rider form, Kamen Rider Valen. And yes, Valen it comes from the word Valentine because that's a holiday where you give people chocolates. But it's like, man, it's so cool. And what's chocolate. So what ends up happening is because of the injuries from the surgery, he could barely stand up. And when he fires his blaster, he keeps missing. But man, does he put up a good fight, though. It is pretty standard fare at first, but then it gets really better because there's a part where he's holding the gun from underneath up to his abdomen, and he starts firing upward, causing the mushroom granule to like go further and further up. Then he uses a fishing move where he creates a giant ball of chocolate, and it just fires up at him, causing the villain to explode. And of course, while all the Gochizos are celebrating, while all of Shoma's Gochizos are celebrating, Suga, the freaking menace, just straight up kidnaps 4 of the Chokodan Gochizos and makes a run for it. Shoma tries to like chase after him, but he's like, wait, why does that guy look familiar? Meanwhile, Hanto just like walks off, swearing to avenge Suga. Not Suga, Salt. And of course, Nielv is there in person watching. It's like, this is very novel. Can't wait to see what happens next. And that's where we end the episode. For the most part, it's a fantastic episode. I love that it actually focuses on Hanto more than it does on Shoma. But I love how both characters are making the necessary preparations moving forward from the things that happened in previous episodes. I love that Shoma, unlike Ichinose, he's actually being proactive. He does smart thing of having a lot of Gochizos do patrols so that if something bad happens, he's not just nearby happenstantially. He's there to he will be able to figure things out as soon as possible. And the thing is, had he done this a day sooner, there's a chance that he could have even saved, he would have found out about Salt sooner, and maybe he might have even been able to save him before his press got destroyed. Who knows? But I do love knowing that, there is death in this show. They established that in the 4th was Mom, but the fact that they did this to Hanto's mentor, especially after his mom died, his grandma died, and now the one man that took care of him after the fact is now also gone. He's like, I'm the only one left. It should have been me instead of him, because no one misses me. But Salt, he might have had a family. I don't know if they established whether or not Salt had a family, but if he did have a wife and child, that's going to be an interesting thing for Hanto to have to do and take care of. One thing I really wish is that in Dragon Knight, when what's it called? When Chris Ramirez died, his dad gets a letter saying, like, finding out that, like, hey, Chris made a difference. He was a great hero. They didn't explicitly say that he died, but given the fact that the Advent Master is missing, that means that, for all we know, Chris is perma-gone. And given the fact that he died saving his two best friends, mind you, while having severe asthma attacks, this dude's the GOAT. The only issue with Dragon Knight is when Chris died, I wish that Maya showed a little more emotion about that, because of the fact that, you know, she was kind of the one that pushed Chris to join the team. So it's like you think that she would have the biggest emotional burden of having to deal with Chris, you know, sacrificing himself. But with that in mind, you know, like, it would be interesting to see Hans go through, because he might not be the only person that might be negatively affected by Salt's death. Not gonna lie though, it'd be weird if, like, somehow Salt comes back as, like, some kind of, like, chocolate zombie or something. I don't know. That's kind of weird. As far as balanced costume design, fantastic design. I love it. His attack, pretty basic, but I do like his finisher where he makes a giant choco bomb. And yes, I love his transformation because of all that liquid chocolate and that tin foil that has to peel off. It is just beautiful. I do find it interesting that some of the squares of the chocolate are white chocolate instead of dark. I mean, I would like a bit of consistency on that part, but I get you want to make it so that you have visors that stand out. But, you know, it's cool. You got a gummy rider and a chocolate rider. Man, can you believe it? A chocolate-themed Kamen Rider. What a time we live in. And yes, and of course, I'm saying this while concurrently discussing a Kamen Rider who giant orange drop on his head and turn into samurai armor. But, you know, it is what it is. This episode, I give it a 9. It's not the best, but I like some of the things they did there. It just did not feel like it was as emotionally, despite the fact that that Salt died. Hanto has to deal with that. It just did not feel like it had, like, the emotional momentum that the previous 2 episodes had. But it didn't just halt, so that's good. Like, I'm still invested in watching the next episode, because this season is legitimately really good, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Let me know what you guys thought. I love you discussing food facts this season. I love discussing them too. I'm curious what I'm going to talk about next episode, because we're continuing with the whole chocolate thing. Surprised Hanto isn't more like Ichimonji. Yeah, you know, like, I was hoping he was going to become a villain. At first. Like, when he becomes a writer, he might be a villain against his will. That's what I wish he did, but it is what it is. Having exploding sports is a nasty skill. To have surprised this guy wasn't more of a menace. Yeah, he could be. Then again, he's disguised as a street performer, so that's already, like, a pretty big menace. Like, you just make a person disappear, no one's going to question it until, like, maybe a few hours later when they reappear. Using a magic show as a front to shrink humans is smart, but I hate that it uses stage magic because I like Houdini. I love Houdini too. He was the original Scooby-Doo. So much liquid chocolate. Yeah, there's liquid chocolate. Well, if you guys enjoy watching this podcast, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, ding the bell icon. Say notified for our latest videos. Also, just a quick heads up, because I haven't really brought this up quite yet. Ranger Stop in Orlando, Florida is going to be on November 10th to the 12th. Wait, no, that's last year. Hold on. hold on. Let me just go back to the hold on. Let me just go right over here. Yeah, because I know that Ranger Stop. Instagram. There we go. Because like on the Instagram page, they have more up-to-date information on the thing. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if we could find a date, because I'd be remiss if they didn't give more details, because I remember there were ads. Let's see. Here we go. It's no wait. That's Ranger Stop and Pop. Oh yeah, here it is. It's gonna be November. Oh, whoa. Okay. Apparently, the next Orlando one won't be till next year. I stand corrected. But yeah, next Ranger Stop in Orlando is going to be November 2025. I guess they're skipping this year. I totally get it. People were not in a safe place recently because of, although it's in Texas, and we hope you guys are staying safe out there. But I totally get it. Maybe there might be some months ahead weather thing going on, but in any case, yeah, next year Ranger Stop will still be a thing, as well as Japan World Heroes. So yeah, I mean, I thought there was a date on the 20 this year for November, but I guess I was mistaken. It's okay. Happens to the best of us. But in any case, Mike, I hope you're doing all right. So the next convention I'll be attending will be Pasadena Comic-Con, which January they just announced the dates for it, and our first guest that has already been announced, and it's none other than the man himself, Johnny Young Bosch. Can't wait to see you again. And of course, and I know that Steve will definitely be there as well, because like we were both in cahoots with Johnny at one point. And let's see what else. But as far as conventions go, we did do a lot of interviews for Power Morphicon. Our most recent uploads are Jay Borg and Blake from Ninja Storm and Dino Fury. So definitely check those two interviews out. We still have plenty more. I'd say there's like another 35-ish more interviews to upload. So definitely to go around. And of course, we do Ultraman Arc on Mondays, but this week we did it just before this podcast. So if you were here for both podcasts back to back, we hope you have been enjoying yourselves. On Wednesdays, Kamen Rider got chart. Hey everyone, how you doing? Thursdays, Kage Sentai Boom Boomger, and Sundays, Kamen Rider Gaim. We're producing a lot of Toku content here. Network, and also check out our sister channel, The Buttery Show, where we review various non-tokusatsu related movies. And yeah, we did quite a lot of stuff in the 90s, so we hope you guys enjoyed those. 30th anniversary if it's 1994, 20th if it's 2004, 10th if it's 2014. Hopefully we'll do some more movies later this month. We're not going to do a whole theme block like we usually have done in this past year. We're just gonna maybe just do one or two scary movies this month because it's October. And if you want to find my personal content, you can find me on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. And with all that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to stay safe, stay hydrated, update emergency kits, hug your loved ones, and we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.